Anin, mamengwa kwe indishnakas, gazagaskwa jamaica gandunjaba, megaze indodame. That's my greeting you in my ancestral language of Ojibwe. But more on that later. Today we're going to solve the greatest mystery in all of behavior change. I know what I should do, I just don't do it. I've heard this agony countless times, from long-term smokers, those addicted to meth, gang youth trying to leave violence, and patients trying to get healthy after a serious diagnosis. This time I heard it from Lisa, one of our patients in a clinical study I was running for a large hospital system. She had joined the program trying to reverse her prediabetes. At first, she was exercising, eating healthy, and losing weight. But long-term, like most others in the study, Lisa regained all the weight she had lost, and her diabetes advanced. She's not alone. Up to 97% of people who diet regain that weight. Only 4% of people change their health habits after a heart attack. And 85% of people relapse in the first year after addiction treatment. In psychology, this problem of knowing but not doing is called the no-do gap. Trying to solve this gap has taken me on a lifelong journey through many disciplines, including medicine, public health, social justice, behavior design, and ultimately, neuroscience. And after decades of searching, I finally found the answer to the mysterious no-do gap. New evidence on a brain area called the habenula. This tiny area of our brain activates at the slightest hint of failure or frustration, like eating your kids' Halloween candy when you swore you wouldn't. Been there, done that. Then, the second it turns on, the habenula kills our motivation to keep trying that behavior. This is helpful when it stops us from touching the hot stove twice, but our greatest obstacle when we're trying to get healthy. Think of the habenula as a brake pedal in your car, and the gas pedal is your dopamine reward system. Just like in a real car, you can punch the gas all you want, but if your brakes are on, you're not going anywhere. So, whenever we know what we should do, but lose motivation to do it, guess what? The habenula brake is on. New science shows that the habenula controls everything, from depression, anxiety, and addiction, to sleep, decision-making, and even hunger. It's emerging as perhaps the most powerful behavior control ever found. Let's be honest. Behavior change programs have failed so publicly that most people now agree they don't work. And this drives more people than ever to take drastic measures for their health, like surgeries and expensive prescriptions. And while many of us agree that behavior change programs don't work, almost no one knows the reason why they don't. Or more importantly, how we can work with our brain to successfully change instead. The problem is hiding in plain sight. You see, current programs use something called performance-based goals or tools. A mouthful. But you'll recognize these better by their common names: SMART goals, calorie counters, steps trackers, fitness challenges, social media influencers, on and on. These performative tools are everywhere, and they're touted as the way to get results. But studies have shown that performative tools actually cause you to lose motivation, and even worse, quitting, lying, cheating, depression, and anxiety, all signature signs that the habenula has been triggered by some feelings of failure. Like the rest of my colleagues, I spent years trying to make performative methods work. But every time, these methods worked for a while, only to result in people relapsing, blaming themselves for the relapse, and then quitting altogether. This all changed in 2016. As I was doing behavior research on employee health for the largest retailer in the US. These were frontline workers who faced the greatest social and economic challenges to their health. Through studying hundreds of their stories nationwide, I found the only common link among those who changed their behavior permanently. Instead of using performative methods, these clever people were using an iterative mindset, full of experimenting, tweaking, and adapting their healthy effort. Each found a way to work with their brain, one that didn't trigger their habenula. For example, they used spices to increase veggie intake, used soup cans as dumbbells, or repeated mantras that neutralized failure, like, well, tomorrow's a new day. By iterating, these people kept going when everyone else quit or got stuck in the no-do gap. This breakthrough of being iterative rather than performative led me to create a behavior change software company based on this new neuroscience, with a special focus on the health of underserved people. Why underserved people? Well, this goes back to my opening greeting in Ojibwe. You see, my mother is an Indian boarding school and PTSD survivor, taken from her Leech Lake Ojibwe family at age 5 and beaten for speaking her native language. Through unimaginable adversity, my mother overcame racism, poverty, family alcoholism, and learning difficulties to not only be the first college graduate in her family, but also go on to be the first Native American female psychoanalyst. And how did she do it? You guessed it. She iterated her way through all those obstacles, keeping her habenula at bay. And while she raised me to be iterative too, I didn't understand exactly how she had succeeded until my research with the frontline workers and discovery of iterative mindset. Iteration is everyone's birthright. It is older than time. DNA iterates to make organisms more resilient and adaptive. Nature iterates constantly in response to shifting weather and resources. Dear friends, there's a way out of this performative mess we've created. We can follow nature and start working with our brain by taking 3 key actions. Number 1, right-size the use of performative methods to where they're most beneficial, like in short-term goals or in single, simple tasks. Number 2, neutralize every type of failure possible. For example, all or nothing thinking or self-blame, to turn off the habenula and restore people's motivation and empowerment. Number 3, teach and practice the art of iteration in schools and communities so that adults, and especially children, can turn off their habenula and foster the resilience to keep going. A life skill needed now more than ever. This new science on the habenula sits at the heart of everything that matters. Everything we do or don't do. Especially for those of us who carry the biggest burdens of failure, struggles, or oppression. This changes the game, liberating our full potential. Most of all, this groundbreaking knowledge unlocks the natural power of everyone equally to be unstoppable and live our fullest, healthiest lives. Miigwech. Thank you.